Up next, we've got the latest hit from Veeam. It's climbing charts everywhere, and soon it's going to climb right into your heart. Here it is.
Well, dang. Ransomware had my data all jacked up. If only I had secure backup. Then I met you, Veeam, my AWS backup dream team. Yeah.
Good morning, AWS, and welcome to the AWS Morning Brief. I'm hopped up on cold meds as I record this and have no idea what I'm actually saying, which makes me a shoo-in for a job in AWS marketing. Let's dive right in and see what they have for us this week. Amazon EC2 auto-scaling now lets you control which instances to terminate on scale in. I choose to terminate someone else's instances wherever possible. Amazon Elastic Block Store now supports idempotent volume creation, but somehow I've never encountered duplicate volume creation before, ever. If you have, please let me know. Amazon Kendra releases WorkDocs Connector. This is handy for what's almost certainly the single customer who uses both Kendra and WorkDocs. Amazon S3 Access Points aliases allow any application that requires an S3 bucket name to easily use an access point. My favorite part of this admittedly awesome feature is how the S3 alias names all look like what you'd have if you angrily threw your keyboard across the room. AWS Amplify now supports sign-in with Apple. Sure wish the AWS console would do that. Alternately, let me tie multiple YubiKeys to one account, please. AWS Lambda now supports up to 10 gigabytes of memory and 6 vCPU cores in the Middle East, Bahrain, Asia-Pacific, Osaka, and Asia-Pacific, Hong Kong regions. It's news to me that Lambda functions that work in one region wouldn't work in another, despite Lambda being available in both regions. Yikes. Improving hospital patient engagement and increasing hospital ancillary revenue using AI. When I said, please tell more stories about AI ML, I have to admit I was not expecting use it to make healthcare more expensive to be the example AWS chose. Introducing Amazon Route 53 Application Recovery Controller. This is in some ways turning Route 53 into an actual database. This is a service to watch. EC2 Classic is retiring. Here's how to prepare. The classic networking mode for EC2 gets to live out the rest of its days playing shuffleboard at a farm upstate. Heads up, AWS support for Internet Explorer 11 is ending. A lot of people are suddenly discovering that it's going to be a real obstacle to digital transformation if your company mandates you use a 7-year-old web browser. Implement high availability for Oracle Enterprise Manager in the AWS cloud. Congratulations to AWS for this awkwardly worded announcement that they hired an Oracle exec. Use Key Management Service, AWS KMS, to securely manage Ethereum accounts, Part 1. The KMS product owner apparently screwed something up, and as penance, has to have their service subjected to a 2-part series tying it to blockchain. That's messed up. Announcing Amazon Genomics CLI in preview, a CLI tool that lets you gaze into your cells. The AWS CLI remains the tool of choice if you want to gaze into your soul. This episode is sponsored in part by our friends at Chaos Search. You could run Elasticsearch or Elastic Cloud or OpenSearch as they're calling it now, or a self-hosted Elk stack. But why? Chaos Search gives you the same API you've come to know and tolerate, along with unlimited data retention and no data movement. Just throw your data into S3 and proceed from there as you would expect. This is great for IT operations folks, for app performance monitoring, cybersecurity. If you're using Elasticsearch, consider not running Elasticsearch. They're also available now in the AWS Marketplace if you'd prefer not to go direct and have half of whatever you pay them count toward your EDP commitment. Discover what companies like Klarna, Equifax, Armor Security, and Blackboard already have. To learn more, visit chaossearch.io and tell them I sent you just so you can see them facepalm yet again. Sterling Bank drives innovation in banking with VMware Cloud on AWS. Look, I'm sorry, this story is crap. If you want to tell stories about how banks are innovating on AWS, there are a lot of examples you can pick. Leaving aside the fact that the innovation here is an innovative single point of contact digital service that interacts with any device, or, as I'd refer to it, suspiciously close to a web app, their solution was to call Deloitte, motto, world-leading experts in digital transformation, but please ignore that our website subdomain is www2, who then rolled out VMware on AWS, motto, treat your cloud like a data center to power the thing. Moving to the cloud is hard. I get it. That goes double for regulated industries, but they really aren't doing anyone any favors by calling this innovation. Conversely, AWS Artist Series, creating characters with dynamic wrinkles. Holy crap. This is the first AWS blog post that I can recall that touches on an AWS service, Nimble Studio in this case, that isn't even required to get value from the post. There are no architecture diagrams, hidden billing gotchas, or arcane references to other AWS services. Artists can just read this post and learn how to do a thing. This is amazing. 5 reasons why I'm excited to attend AWS Reinforce 2021 in Houston, Texas. Well, here's my shot. Number 1, Houston in late August is lovely. Number 2, the author won't have to watch the Americas Online Summit, which will be streaming live at the same time. 3, getting a bunch of people who deal with risk for a living to gather en masse during a COVID-19 resurgence is a great way to figure out who they should not hire. Number 4, catching up with colleagues whose companies consider them to be expendable. And number 5, figuring out whether vendor badge scanners can work with 6 feet of distance in the expo hall. And lastly, strengthen the security of sensitive data stored in Amazon S3 by using additional AWS services. This is refreshingly direct. Usually I have to read the article to figure out that it's a services cross-sell. And that's what happened last week in AWS. Please continue to make good choices.
This has been a Humble Pod production. Stay humble.